from the News Channel 5 Network and AARP. This is AARP Connected.
It's a great day to be connected. Hi, I'm your host, Mia McNeil, and welcome to AARP Connected. I'm glad you've tuned in. We've got a great show in store for you. As you know, during each episode of AARP Connected, we explore important issues that empower you to choose how you live as you age. I hope you'll also choose to stay with us today as we talk about scams and frauds and how you can avoid them. We've got a national fraud expert on the show, and she'll share lots of great fraud prevention tips and resources. But before we get into that conversation, let's check out a segment we call Things You Need to Know.
Concert and sporting event ticket scams are becoming more common as fans turn to the resale market for cheaper tickets or to get into sold-out events. And scammers are waiting in the wings to cash in. Here are some ways to protect yourself from ticket scams. When buying a ticket from a reseller, make sure it's a certified member of the National Association of Ticket Brokers. They give a 200% refund if you pay for tickets but don't actually get them. Always double check if you have the correct URL if you use ticket sellers such as Vivid Seats, Ticketmaster, or StubHub. This fake URL for StubHub replaces the B with a 6, which is easy to miss if you're not looking closely. Make sure to verify your seats. Before buying a ticket from a reseller, ask what the seat number is, then check the official ticket seller's website. If the seat is still open, they're trying to scam you. For more online tips, go to aarp.org/FraudWatchNetwork.
Too much salt and fats and lack of exercise aren't the only things that are bad for your heart. Here are two surprising things that can cause high blood pressure and stress to your heart muscle. Sleep apnea. When a person with sleep apnea stops breathing, the brain steps in and wakes the body up to take a breath, which is very hard on the vascular system. A common warning sign of sleep apnea is snoring. So if someone tells you that you snore loudly or gasp often while you're sleeping, it may warrant a discussion with your healthcare provider. Black licorice. Yes, black licorice made from licorice root can be a health hazard, and not just because of its sugar content. The candy contains a compound that can cause the body to hold on to lots of salt and water, thereby driving blood pressure up. Eating just 2 ounces a day for at least 2 weeks could land adults 40 and older in the hospital. For more health tips, go to aarp.org/health.
And finally, the military community lost 25% more in 2024 than in the previous year due to fraud, according to the Federal Trade Commission. Total reported losses were around $584 million nationwide. The most common scams were imposter scams, where thieves pose as trusted organizations to steal personal information. Learn more at aarp.org/FraudWatchNetwork. That bit of sobering information tells us how ruthless scammers can be, even to our honored veterans. And it fits in with our show's topic today, preventing fraud. We are so happy to be joined by a true fraud fighter, and you might recognize her from our Things You Need to Know videos. We've got Amy Nofziger from the AARP Fraud Watch Network with us on the show today. Amy has been a fierce advocate in fighting fraud and leads the AARP Fraud Victim Support Center. Thanks for connecting with us, Amy. So let's jump right in. Okay, so for folks that don't know, what exactly is the AARP Fraud Watch Network?
So the Fraud Watch Network is a free resource for anyone of any age, and you actually do not have to be an AARP member to utilize any of its resources. So we have great fraud information. We have an award-winning podcast called The Perfect Scam. But one of, I think, the most valuable things that we have at the Fraud Watch Network is the Fraud Watch Network helpline. And again, that's what I manage, as you said. We got 100,000 phone calls last year from people concerned about fraud. So we want you to call and report a fraud. If you're in the middle of a fraud and you're just not sure, call us. Or sadly, if you have been a victim of fraud, you can call the helpline and you'll get assigned to one of our 150 trained fraud specialists across the country who will walk alongside of you in your fraud journey.
Wow. Okay, so tell us again just how folks can get in touch with the AARP Fraud Watch Network, because that's a lot of phone calls.
It's a lot of phone calls. So go to the website. It's aarp.org/fraudwatchnetwork, or you can call us on the helpline. It's 877-908-3360. And people are always asking me about the helpline. You will get a live person right away when you call. It's great. There's no voicemails or anything like that, so you'll get a live person.
That's fantastic. What trends have you seen in frauds from scammers lately? They are a very smart group of folks.
Yes, they are. And they keep changing their scripts and they keep adapting. So one thing we know is that fraudsters follow the headlines. So anytime there is something in the news, like any government changes, any rule changes, they're going to use that to their advantage and try to trick consumers. We're also seeing a lot of imposter scams. That's where someone is calling you pretending to be someone they're not. Whether it's a government imposter scam, so they're pretending to be with the FBI or the IRS, or if they're pretending to be a company, like they'll send you a text saying there's a problem with your Amazon account and you need to log in, right? So we're seeing a lot of those imposter scams. Also, the devices that we carry in our pockets every single day. That's been a huge change in my 23 years of working in the fraud space, is that the criminals have access to us now 24/7. So I always tell everyone, just remember when you're on your device, so might be a criminal, and just be aware who you're communicating with.
Oh, well, I understand that. I apparently owe a toll somewhere. So when a person thinks that they've been scammed, what steps should they take next? Well, how should they report a scam?
So first and foremost, if you think you're involved in a scam, the most important thing is to stop communications with that criminal. A lot of victims will say, well, I'm asking them questions or I'm keeping the conversation going so then you guys have more information. No, the longer you stay connected to that criminal, the more likely they're going to steal more money from you. Then immediately report it. And I don't really care where you report it as long as you report it. If you're more comfortable with your local law enforcement, report it there. If you're more comfortable reporting it to IC3, which is the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center, report it there. If you want to report it to us on the Fraud Watch Network helpline, please report it to us. All of our cases are uploaded to the FTC's Consumer Sentinel anyways, so we're going to get you to the right spot and get that data to the right spot.
Oh, that's really helpful. Okay, so we need to take a quick break, but don't go away because we've got so much more to share about how you can avoid scams and fraud. When we come back, we'll continue chatting with Amy. Okay, welcome back to AARP Connected. If you're just joining us, we've been joined by fraud expert Amy Nofziger, and she's sharing great tips to stay one step ahead of scammers. So many people are embarrassed about being the victim of a scam, and sometimes they don't even report it. So what would be your advice to them?
Do not be ashamed. Do not be embarrassed. You were a victim of a crime. Just like if someone stole your purse walking down the street, you would report it, wouldn't you? So why aren't we reporting this? I don't know why there is so much shame and blame when it comes to this, because let me tell you, every one of us has a target on our back, and most of us will all be a victim of a scam. So, you can always come to the helpline. We are empathetic, we're caring, we will listen, but don't be ashamed.
Now, I know that Tennessee is home to more than 500,000 veterans. Fort Campbell is literally right down the street from us. And we know that there's been a growing number of scams that are trying to steal from our veterans and military families. What are the most common scams that you've seen targeting our veterans?
So kind of going back to the imposter scams again. So people will call veterans and pretend to be with the Veterans Administration. And they'll say, you know, we can get you early access to these benefits, or we have secret benefits for you. And they're just looking to steal personal or financial information. You know, it happens with a lot of affinity groups. You know, we see, you know, people pretending to be veterans to target veterans. We see certain religions targeting other, you know, it's like all this affinity fraud. But just remember, always go to va.gov if you have any questions about your benefits.
And as more people are using technology, so smartphones, scammers are, as we said, they're becoming smarter and craftier, and they have started using text messages. So what should we be looking for? Because like I told you, I just found out I owe $6.88 in tolls.
You and everyone else that has gotten that toll text. So what we know with the text message scams is, think about how many times you look at your phone a day and you make a quick, rapid response on if you should pay attention to something. So we have an example right here. This is the toll scam that most of us have gotten, right? They're using kind of an emergency to get you to buy into it. Also, they're charging you $3.99. You think, oh, well, that's not that much. I'll go ahead and pay it. I want to take care of this now so I can get on to the other 20 text messages I have. This is probably one of the most popular text message scams that's out there right now, is the toll scam.
Goodness. So we've covered smartphones and text messages. Okay, so in my inbox, in my email, I receive a ton of suspicious emails, but it's hard to know which ones are actually legitimate and what's a possible scam. So what are some red flags that people should look for when they're encountering this also?
Yeah, it's really great. So definitely you're going to want to look at who the email is coming from. Check on it, because it could be one word, one letter, one number off. Always check that. And then check for misspellings. You can see there, right there on the screen, number 2. They didn't know how to spell January. Any legitimate business is going to know how to spell January. Number 3, immediately. That is one of the things that scammers and criminals want to do, is get you to act quickly and with urgency. So that's why they put that in there. It's like, you have to pay attention to this now. And then also with emails, you want to see what they're asking. Are they asking you to go someplace else? Like, are they asking you to click on a link? Right, that link looks kind of legitimate, but if you click on that link and enter your personal and financial information, they will do nothing but steal it. And right now, we have an email scam going around with Joann Fabrics, which is going out of business, and criminals have impostered them and are sending thousands of emails that look exactly like their website, but it is nothing but criminals trying to steal your personal information.
How in the world do they make these websites look exactly like the vendor's website?
It's crazy, but it's their job to them. I mean, this is the criminal's job, to create a website that looks exactly like this. Even Joann Fabrics put a warning on their website saying, we are being impostered. This is not us. But that's why with emails, you have to pay close attention to all those kind of hidden red flags.
Wow. So tell me, how can folks know what scams are being reported in their community? I would assume that the best way to fight a scam is to know what's going on, but how do you find that out?
Absolutely. So again, as part of the Fraud Watch Network, we have a great scam map. So you can go to aarp.org/fraudwatchnetwork, and you can drill down to your zip code in your community and find out what scams are being reported there. Additionally, we have all the top scams on our website to pay attention to. You can even call the helpline and just ask the intake person, say, hey, what scams are trending today? Like, what do I need to know about? The information is out there. You just need to go and grab it for yourself.
I love this. This is fantastic information. Okay, so we need to take one more quick break, and when we return, Amy will give us her top 3 fraud prevention tips. You won't want to miss it. So come on back. Welcome back to AARP Connected. We have a few minutes left with our guest, Amy Nofziger from the AARP Fraud Watch Network. So, Amy, in the past few years, cryptocurrency has become a popular investment and a very popular way to get scammed. Can you talk more about how scammers use crypto to steal your money?
So there's two ways that we're seeing right now on the helpline. The first way is a cryptocurrency investment scam. Some people might call it pig butchering. I think that's kind of a negative term, but that's what they call it. It's where you might get an investment opportunity that comes in via a text message. You find someone on social media. You just start chatting with them, and the next thing you know, they're like, well, I'm retired early because, I was successful in crypto. I can mentor you if you'd like. The next thing you know, you get connected, you've put your money into the account, and when you want to withdraw it, they say, no, you can't withdraw. There's a tax, there's a penalty. So you think, okay, well, I've made enough already. I'll put a little bit more in. No, they will steal everything from you. So we're seeing this, as I said, with text messages. We've all probably gotten a random text message that says, hey, what time's dinner tonight? And you don't recognize the number in your phone, and you're like, sorry, wrong number. That's how a lot of these cryptocurrency investment scams start. And then the other way are these crypto ATM machines. And right now there's about 45,000 crypto ATM machines in the United States. Criminals will direct their victims to put their money in the crypto ATM machine as their payment. And once you put your money in, it goes to the criminal's wallet and it is gone. So I like to tell people, if you ever hear crypto from anyone you do not know, run away.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
It's big.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So I teased before the break your top 3 fraud prevention tips that our viewers need to know. I'm dying to hear about them. I'm ready.
Let me see if I can get them down to 3 good ones. I think really ask somebody. Like, anytime you are not sure about anything, ask a friend, right? You get a weird text message, you get a weird phone call, ask a friend, ask the helpline, just ask, right? And a lot of people don't want to ask for help. This is the time you need to ask for help. How does this look to you? Does this look legitimate? Take a breath. I know that sounds so simple, but the scammers want to get you into this heightened emotional state where all you can do is act quickly and act now. If you literally take a breath, step back, and walk away from the situation, that will help. And I think my third one is we all need to remember, anytime we are online, anywhere online, so is a criminal. If you can remember that, if you're on social media, if you're on your email, if you're on your text, if you're on a website, so might be a criminal. And so listen to what they're asking you. If they're asking for personal information or money, it's 100% a scam.
Wow.
And stop picking up your phone. Right, let me add a 4th one in there, Mia.
That's so amazing, because you do hear a lot that a lot of our members have just decided they're not answering the phones anymore.
Good.
My goodness.
Let it go to voicemail.
Wow. Okay. So Tennessee, we have this FTC report that usually comes out every year. Tennessee has a ranking in fraud. We've done better this year, but we still lost about $155 million. So how does that report inform the work that you do?
I think it's really important to know that even though the report says that $150 million was stolen from people in Tennessee, that's probably an underestimate, because we know that this crime is vastly underreported. It's probably 10 times that amount. So that's a huge loss. So we still have a lot of work to do. How it informs my work is really focusing on kind of those methods of payment. So we know right now the criminals really like to be paid in prepaid gift cards and crypto ATM machines. So then when I go out and talk to people, I give them those red flags. I really want to whittle it down for people to kind of simple things that they can keep in their mind, right? We know that maybe there's 200 classified scams right now that are out there, but if you can remember, no prepaid gift cards to anyone you don't know, or like if you're buying it for a baby shower, great, go buy a prepaid gift card. But if someone's saying you have to pay a debt with it, absolutely not. No crypto ATM machines, because again, criminals love that. If a stranger is asking you for Venmo, 100% a scam. If they're asking you for your social security number or Medicare number, scam, right? Like, so just remember those things. So, but that's how I look at the FTC report, is kind of how are the criminals adapting their ways to try to steal your money, so then I can go out and tell the community about it.
So the FTC report comes out every year?
Every year.
Is that something that a person like me or any of our folks can go and look up themselves?
Absolutely. You can go to ftc.gov and just search for Consumer Sentinel. And again, I said earlier, our data from the helpline is uploaded into that data book. And we're really proud to say we're one of the largest data contributors of people over the age of 50 plus to that Sentinel book. Because we know when older adults lose money in a scam, they lose more money because they have more money to lose because they've worked so hard their whole life. But let's be clear, anyone can be a victim, young people, older people, middle-aged people, it doesn't matter. But when an older person loses money, they lose more money, and that's really detrimental.
Wow. Well, Amy, I have to say, I do feel equipped to be a fraud fighter at this point, and I hope that our viewers feel the same way. You've shared so much valuable information. I cannot thank you enough. And I'm happy that you were able to visit with us today.
Yes.
Wonderful. Well, if you'd like to connect with AARP, we've got some fun community events coming up. We're hosting fraud fighting events, music lessons, and pickleball clinics in communities across the state. It's all free and no AARP membership is required. Find out more at aarp.org/TN. Stay in the know on all the latest AARP is doing in Tennessee. Connect with us on any of these popular social media sites. And if you enjoy podcasts, we will have a podcast version of each episode available wherever you download your favorite podcast content. Just hit subscribe and get notifications when new episodes are available. Well, that wraps our time together today. Thank you so much for joining in. I hope you found today's episode informative. Have a great day, and thank you for being connected.